Here's the product I'm most excited about. 100% BIO-ACTIVE WHEY from iSatori, a new innovation in bringing the protein market to a whole nother level. Again, and you know me, and as Chief Innovative Officer, I don't like to develop products unless they excite me personally, unless I know I'm going to be excited about using them. And this is one of those products that does that. And you'll see why as I flip through these slides. So let's take a look first at what's on the inside. We know without a reason of a doubt, and when we look at all the research that exists on all different forms of protein, that whey protein is the single most important protein source that we can use for those of us who work out in the gym and that are trying to enhance recovery, improve strength, and most importantly, build lean body mass. We know whey protein is, without a doubt, the most important. So we started there with a combination, no blend, no tricks here, with whey protein concentrate, whey protein isolate, and whey protein hydrolysate. 3 different forms of whey protein. But again, no tricks, no blend. They're in that exact descending order on a label. You'll see there's no blends. And that's something that we're very proud of because we're not trying to hide anything. We're trying to give you the absolute best protein product we can. So we started with 25 grams of 100% whey protein from concentrate, isolate, and hydrolysate. Next, and probably most important, is we infused it with the power of clinically researched BIO-GRO bioactive peptides. Again, combination that is going to produce a profound effect when it comes to repairing and rebuilding that muscle cell. Okay? Last but not least, amazing ice cream flavor taste. Again, we didn't want to just make something that you could sort of have to drink and stomach and, oh my God, I'm not sure if that exactly tastes like what it says on the label, but I'll drink it anyway because it's a good product. No, we wanted it to be like drinking ice cream, melted ice cream out of the bottom of a bowl, and I think we've achieved that. So let's take a further look into the real benefit here of the way we put this product together. So the BIO-ACTIVE WHEY, and when we compare it, again, to all the other whey protein products on the market, this is something that I'm very, very proud of, and it's something that I think is very beneficial to understand. There are more total grams of protein inside our BIO-ACTIVE WHEY, quote-unquote, 2-pound container, okay, and I'll talk about how there's a lot of tricks played on this 2-pound container, than any other protein of the leading brands on the market, okay? So there's 750 total grams of whey protein inside each one of our containers, okay? So the tricks that are played out there, and this is where I think most people just don't really observe what's going on, but I think this is important to know, and the reason why we developed this product this way is 750 total grams of protein is because we have 25 grams of protein per scoop per serving, and we have 30 scoops, 30 servings in the container. So our container, although it's sort of the same size as what you would traditionally call a 2-pound container, is actually about 2.5 pounds of material. Why? Because we have 25 grams of protein and we have 30 servings, which equates to 750 total grams of protein in that container. Okay? Now, if you look at most of the leading competitors, they play a trick on one side of the pendulum or the other. They either put 25 grams of protein per scoop, but then they give you 28, 26, I've seen as little as 22 servings in the container, right? But then what do they do to fill it up? To make it 2 pounds? Maltodextrin, polydextrose, all kinds of fillers to add more weight, useless weight to the container, so they can say it's a 2-pound protein. But if you do the math, 22 grams or 22 servings on 25 grams is far less than 750 grams of protein. In fact, most of the leaders have about 625 grams of total protein. Now, the other side of the pendulum is they'll put 30 servings in there, or 31 or 32 I've seen from a recent company who launched a protein product, but then their protein count is 22 grams per serving. Right? See the trick that's being played there? I give you more servings, but I give you less protein. So do the math, and where do you end up? 650 grams of protein, still far less than the total amount of protein we have in here. Now, on a price comparison basis, we wanted our price to be right on par with the rest of the market. We see no reason that we need to play any tricks or gouge any of our customers. So because we're the same price as all the other 2-pound proteins, if you will, having 750 total grams of protein makes us the absolute best value in protein on the market. Okay? That's something I'm really, really proud of that we were able to achieve, and something that I think is beneficial for our customers to know. So when you really add up the trifecta of the BIO-ACTIVE WHEY, we've got the perfect protein here. So you've got the scientific aspect, number one, right? You've got the most bioavailable and readily used and ample supply of amino acid material from whey protein as the base of your formula. You have it infused with BIO-GRO bioactive peptides. And the reason that's important is because we know that the bioactive peptides from BIO-GRO are going to increase the call for those aminos, which are going to come from the protein, and it's going to accelerate the rate of protein synthesis to help us recover faster, increase strength, and build lean body mass. So you've got a great combination between the whey protein and the BIO-GRO, making it a leading innovative product, really setting the bar in protein products from a scientific standpoint. Second, you've got the absolute best value for protein on the market because it's got more total grams of protein per container than any of the leading brands. And then third, you've got a decadent ice cream flavor. So when we first started to design, and this was the whole reason why it's taken us so long to enter into this market with protein, is I didn't want to just be able to do one or two. I wanted to be able to do all three of these for our customer. And I'm proud to say that we were able to achieve that. So you have 30 servings of whey, 30 scoops per container. You can just mix it with 6 to 8 ounces of water or skim milk or however you prefer. It's instantized, so it's going to mix with a spoon. You can mix really easily with a shaker. Put it in a blender. You can drink it anytime throughout the day, but at the very least, you always want to at least have protein after your workout, right? That's the most important time of the day. Start helping the body recover from the workout, but you can really drink protein all throughout the day. And as most people do and most athletes do, they're consuming protein about every 2 to 3 hours per day, and you can certainly use the BIO-ACTIVE WHEY as a convenient way to fulfill those protein needs or get even more protein. And then with the BIO-GRO, you're going to make sure that you're making use of all of that protein and those aminos that you're consuming. So you've got 30 servings of whey protein. You've got the infusion of BIO-GRO bioactive peptides. You've got the absolute best value in total grams of protein per container. And you've got decadent flavors that we're excited for you to try. So in our opinion, the innovation here that we've created by putting these three together is the perfect protein in 100% BIO-ACTIVE WHEY. Any questions?
Yeah. The big elephant, amino spiking.
Good question. Amino spiking. Wouldn't dare ever cross that line. I think people that know us as a company know that our ethics and just morally being able to look at myself in the mirror and know that I was cheating the consumer, I couldn't do it. I couldn't look at myself and know that I was cheating the consumer. The fact that so many companies did that, and we know why they did. The price of protein was increasing so much so that they didn't want to pass on the increase to the consumer, so instead they started using cheap aminos like glycine and even creatine to affect what's called a nitrogen level test. When you do an analytical test, it tests nitrogen. That nitrogen is basically what tells you how much protein is in there. Well, these aminos test positive as a nitrogen, so it looked like it had X amount of grams of protein, when in reality it didn't. Some had in the test. When the tests were revealed and the hammer got thrown down on the market, it was really, some of them were less than half the amount of protein contained in there. And to me, that's just cheating the consumer. That's something we would never do, and you certainly will not find any amino spiking. You have a pure protein guarantee on every bottle, every batch, tested to ensure that there's the protein that we say on the side of the label is exactly what's found inside the bottle.
At 140 calories, low sugar, low carbs, could this be used as a meal replacement?
You know, you could use protein as a meal replacement, and some people do. And in fact, when you're dieting for a competition or a show, fitness, bikini, bodybuilding, whatever it may be, physique, you really don't want a lot of excess carbohydrates. So a lot of times that protein powder, like BIO-ACTIVE WHEY, would serve as a meal, if you will. But even then, if you wanted to add some additional carbs, you could always grind up some oats in the blender and add it to your shake. You know, give yourself a good complex carb. You know, I probably wouldn't add things like maltodextrin or glucose or anything, sugar. You could always add some fruit with some, you know, a lot of people, some people like to stay away from fructose or fruit sugar. I actually like it, especially post-workout for that simple carb. So you can add some fruit to it. So you definitely could use it as a meal replacement. Great question. Other questions?
How many times a day? You said for sure after workout, but you can drink it throughout the day if you want.
Yeah, so good question. How many times a day would you want to use BIO-ACTIVE WHEY? And again, I think the best place to start with that question is start with your protein needs, right? So for optimal health and performance, you know, you want to come somewhere between about, you know, 0.75 and a gram of protein per day, right? Per pound of body weight. Most of the studies are right in that range. And for building lean body mass, increasing strength, you probably want to go upwards of 1.5 grams. Now, you can go all the way to 2 grams of protein per pound of body weight. That's an awful lot. There's very limited data that really suggests that that's all that much better. However, with the infusion of the BIO-GRO, you know, my guess is that we would be able to utilize more of those aminos so they weren't being wasted, so it probably would have a more profound effect, and I actually can't wait to test that. Theory is that by having the BIO-GRO bioactive peptides in there, you're actually able to use more of those aminos that are basically floating around that might otherwise not be used, and that's probably why you're not seeing more profound effects. But I think if you start there with your body weight, the amount of protein you need, divide that by, say, 5 or 6 meals, and then decide how you want to allocate what types of protein you use. So you may want 1 scoop, you may want 2 scoops at a time. With the BIO-GRO and the 50 grams of protein at 2 scoops, you can be sure that you're using all those aminos, so you don't have to worry about not utilizing those amino acids. So start with your body weight, amount of grams you need per day, break it up into 5 or 6 meals a day, and then decide. But you always want that one shake. If you're only going to have 1 shake a day, have it after your workout. Have it when your body's really requiring that rebuilding of the muscle, where you put the whey protein with the aminos and with the BIO-GRO to make use of that reconstruction of the muscle.
What's the difference between a user of BIO-ACTIVE WHEY and a user of HyperGRO?
HyperGRO, in the way we see and have positioned it as a lean mass gainer, is really for what I would consider that hard gainer, right? When I was younger and when I was 15, 16 and first starting to lift, really thin, you know, you have to imagine I was 6 foot and wrestling 125. So I was 100 pounds less than I am now, right? And I'm trying to lift weights and put muscle in, right? So at that age and at that type of frame, you literally feel like no matter what you do, you can't gain muscle. So you need more calories, but you need clean calories. You need your body to make use of every one of those calories. So from a protein and a carb at a 1-to-1 ratio, with the additional ingredients that are in there, it's going to help provide an environment for your body to actually put on weight, body weight, because you know at that stage that's what you want. So if you're really trying to gain lean mass, HyperGRO would be that formula, you know, especially if you're a hard gainer. Whereas protein, you're really looking at how much protein do I need, how do I get it in throughout the day. Some people look at it as you know, what's the cheapest I can consume the most amount of protein. And that's not always the best way to look at it, because oftentimes you do get what you pay for. But in this case, you know, because we've made it sort of level with the rest of the playing field in terms of price, and because we have more protein total grams per container and the BIO-GRO, we think it's the best value in terms of giving you a good quality protein product.
And then one other question about the BIO-GRO in it. So again, is it 1 scoop of the protein is equivalent to has 1 scoop of BIO-GRO in it?
That's a good question. So the BIO-ACTIVE WHEY has 500 milligrams. So it does have less. It has enough BIO-GRO in there. Trying to consider what the daily usage of someone might be with protein. If you were trying to get all of your BIO-GRO in through BIO-ACTIVE WHEY, you know, you'd essentially have to be taking about 6 scoops a day of BIO-ACTIVE WHEY, but that's not unheard of for guys to do. I mean, there's a lot of people that I know that consume a lot of scoops of protein every day, and 6 scoops, you know, 2 scoops at 50 grams twice a day, that's 150 grams. That might be, for some people, half their protein requirements for the day. So in that instance, you would get all the BIO-GRO you need, but as far as on a per scoop basis, it's 500 milligrams of BIO-GRO bioactive peptides per scoop. Okay. Good questions. And there's also, and that's on the front of the label, you'll see as well, 25 grams of whey protein, 30 servings of whey, 500 milligrams of BIO-GRO bioactive peptides, and then it also has 5.3 grams of naturally occurring aminos. Okay, so we make it real clear that that's naturally occurring. We didn't add those to it. That's what actually is yielded from the protein. But again, that's the combination you want, right? The aminos from the protein and the BIO-GRO going to work to rebuild the muscle.